I heard about a young man who wanted success more than anything. He knocked on doors, faced rejection, and struggled, but he refused to quit. One day, after years of effort, he became the owner of a thriving business. People looked at him and said, "You're lucky." But he smiled and said, "Luck didn't get me here, Faith. Hard work and persistence did." My friend, nobody owes you a great life. Nobody is going to hand you your dreams on a silver platter. If you want success, you have to earn it. You have to put in the work, trust God's timing, and refuse to settle for less than His best. Nobody owes you success, a great life, or a perfect future. If you want something, you have to step up and claim it. Too many people are sitting around waiting for someone to recognize their talent, open a door, or give them a chance. They say, "If only I had the right connections, if only someone would help me get started, if only I had been born into a different family." But can I tell you, you don't have to wait for someone else to approve of you, to give you permission to go after your dreams. God has already put everything you need inside of you. You are not lacking. You are not behind. You are not at a disadvantage. The only thing standing between you and your destiny is the decision to step out and go after it. There's something powerful that happens when you stop waiting and start moving. The moment you decide, "I'm going to be excellent where I am. I'm going to give my best effort. I'm going to stop complaining and start growing," that's when doors start opening. That's when the right people come into your life. That's when you start seeing favor that you never saw before. Because here's the truth. Nobody owes you success, but God has already given you the ability to create it. He's given you a mind to think, hands to work, feet to move, and a spirit that refuses to quit. Now, it's up to you to use what He's given you. You may have challenges. You may not have started in the best circumstances, but that is not an excuse to stay where you are. Some of the most successful people didn't start with advantages. They didn't have all the right people supporting them. They didn't have a trust fund or an easy path. What they did have was a made-up mind. They decided, "I'm going to get up early. I'm going to outwork the competition. I'm going to take classes, gain knowledge, develop my skills, and become so good that people can't ignore me." And before long, opportunities started finding them. Doors started opening. It didn't happen because they were lucky. It happened because they made a decision to stop waiting and start earning. Maybe you've been working hard, but you don't see the results yet. Maybe you're putting in the effort, but nothing seems to be happening. That's when the enemy whispers, "It's not worth it. Nobody notices. Nobody appreciates you." But let me tell you, every bit of effort you put in is a seed you're planting. Every late night, every early morning, every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are setting yourself up for the future that God has for you. Don't buy into the lie that says hard work doesn't pay off. Don't believe the thought that says it's never going to happen for me. Keep doing the right thing, and the right thing will happen. You may not see it yet, but God is watching. He sees you pushing forward when no one else does. He sees you going the extra mile, giving your best, even when it feels like nobody is looking. And He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. That means when you refuse to quit, when you keep pressing forward, when you keep doing your part, He will make sure you see a return on your efforts. The right doors will open, the right people will notice, the right opportunities will find you, but it won't happen if you sit back and wait for someone to hand it to you. Excellence attracts favor. When you go above and beyond, when you take pride in your work, when you give your best, that's when God's favor shines on you. Some people wonder why they never get promoted, why they never get ahead. The truth is, if you're doing just enough to get by, if you're always looking for shortcuts, if you're waiting for someone to recognize you before you put in the effort, you're missing out on what God wants to do in your life. He doesn't bless mediocrity. He doesn't bless laziness. He blesses excellence. When you show up early, when you go the extra mile, when you do more than what's expected, You set yourself apart. People take notice. The right eyes land on you. And before long, you find yourself in positions you never imagined. You may be in a job you don't like. You may feel stuck in a place where you don't see much opportunity. But that's not an excuse to give half your effort. You don't work for people, you work for God. When you're excellent where you are, when you give your best even in the small things, God sees it. He knows how to get you to where you're supposed to be. One promotion, one connection, one opportunity can change everything. But it starts with you deciding, I'm going to show up with excellence every single day. When you operate in excellence, doors will open that you never expected. Excellence is not about being perfect. It's about giving your best every single day. It's about showing up with the right attitude, going the extra mile, and taking pride in everything you do. Some people think, I'll give my best when I get the promotion. I'll be excellent when someone notices me. I'll work hard when I have a bigger opportunity. But the truth is, excellence starts with what you have right now. If you can be excellent in the small things, God will trust you with bigger things. If you show up on time when no one is watching, if you go the extra mile when you don't feel like it, if you take care of what's in front of you, favor will follow you. Too often, people settle for mediocrity because they don't think anyone is paying attention. They say, why should I give my best when nobody appreciates it? Why should I put in the extra effort when no one notices? But you're not working for people, you're working for God. He sees what you do in private. He sees when you stay late to finish the project, when you do more than what's required, when you refuse to cut corners. And He is the one who promotes, who blesses, who brings increase. When you live with a spirit of excellence, you set yourself apart. People will look at you and think, there's something different about them. They don't just do the minimum, they bring energy, passion, commitment. That's what attracts favor. David was out in the fields tending sheep when no one was watching. His brothers were in the military, fighting on the front lines, making a name for themselves. But David was faithfully taking care of what seemed small, what seemed insignificant. He wasn't complaining, saying, this isn't fair. I should be out doing something more important. No, he was giving it his best. He played his harp with excellence. He took care of the sheep with excellence. He showed up with the right attitude day after day. And because he was faithful where he was, God took him to places he never imagined. One day, he went from being a shepherd to being anointed as king. Maybe you feel like you're stuck in a place where no one is noticing you, where your efforts don't seem to be making a difference. But let me tell you, nothing you do with excellence is ever wasted. It's all leading you to the promotion, the opportunity, the breakthrough that God has already lined up. You may not see it yet, but stay faithful. Keep giving your best. Keep honoring God with your work, and the right doors will open at the right time. Life is not always going to hand you what you deserve. You may not have been born into the best family. You may not have been given the same opportunities as someone else. But here's the good news. God is for you. The world may not owe you anything, but God's favor can take you places that your background, your education, your connections never could. When you keep the right attitude, when you stay excellent in all you do, God will put you at the right place at the right time. Some people look at their challenges and think, I can't get ahead. Life isn't fair. I don't have the right support. But can I tell you, it doesn't matter who is against you when God is for you. People don't determine your destiny. Your circumstances don't limit what God can do. When He breathes on your life, when He puts His hand of favor on you, doors will open that no man can shut. The right people will find you. Opportunities will come looking for you. You won't have to chase success. Success will chase you. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we need someone else to approve us, to give us a break, to make things happen for us. But the truth is, you don't have to depend on people. People may overlook you, but God never overlooks you. People may say you don't have what it takes, but God says you have everything you need. If you trust Him, if you walk in faith, if you keep being excellent, He will take care of the rest. Don't waste your time looking for validation from people who don't see your value. Don't live your life waiting for someone else to give you permission to go after your dreams. You are already approved. You are already equipped. You are already anointed for what God has called you to do. If you will step into that confidence, if you will live with that boldness, nothing can stop you. You may feel like you've been at the back of the line, like you've been waiting for things to change for a long time, but God is about to shift things in your favor. He's about to accelerate your destiny. What should have taken years is going to happen in a fraction of the time. The people who overlooked you, the ones who said you didn't have what it takes, they're going to be the ones watching as God elevates you, promotes you, blesses you in ways you never imagined. Keep being excellent. Keep trusting that He is for you, and watch what happens. Rejection is not a sign that you are unqualified, unworthy, or not good enough. It is often a sign that God has something better in store. Too many people take rejection personally, thinking it means they are not talented enough or that they will never succeed. But rejection is not the end. It is simply redirection. When one door closes, it's because God has another door ready to open. It may not make sense now, but if you could see what He has planned, you wouldn't be discouraged. You would be excited knowing that every no is leading you to a better yes. Sometimes what looks like a disappointment is actually a divine appointment. You may have wanted that promotion, but God knew it wasn't the best place for you. You may have thought that relationship was the right one, but God saw what you couldn't see. He knew that if He allowed it, it would limit you, it would keep you from reaching your highest potential. Instead of being discouraged by rejection, start seeing it as a blessing in disguise. Every closed door, every person who walks away, every opportunity that doesn't work out, God is using it all to position you for something greater. People may not always see your value. They may overlook you, reject you, or not give you the credit you deserve. But that doesn't change what God has put inside of you. If someone walked away, if a company didn't hire you, if a client chose someone else, don't waste your energy trying to figure out why. Don't spend another moment trying to prove your worth to people who were never meant to see it. Your destiny is not in their hands. They may have said no, but God has already said yes. They may have counted you out, but God has already counted you in. Instead of dwelling on the rejection, shake it off and move forward with confidence. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison for something he didn't do. He had every reason to be bitter, to be discouraged, to give up on his dreams. But he understood that rejection was not the end of his story. He kept doing the right thing, kept honoring God, kept being excellent in every season. And because he refused to let rejection define him, God took him from the prison to the palace. What was meant to stop him only positioned him for something greater. You have to be careful what you are speaking over your life. Your words have creative power. What you say today is shaping your tomorrow. Too many people go around speaking defeat, talking about how things are never going to change, how they're not talented enough, how they will never get ahead. But you cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot talk about how hard life is and expect to walk in favor. If you want to see blessings, increase, and breakthroughs, you have to start speaking them into existence. Instead of saying, I'll never get that opportunity, start declaring, doors are opening for me. The right people are coming into my life. Favor is surrounding me like a shield. Instead of saying, I always struggle financially, say, I am blessed. I am a lender, not a borrower. God is supplying all of my needs. Instead of saying, I never get good breaks, declare, something good is coming my way. I have divine connections. I am at the right place at the right time. When you align your words with faith, you invite God to do amazing things in your life. The enemy doesn't want you to realize the power of your words. He knows that if you keep speaking negative, defeated thoughts, you will stay stuck. But the moment you start speaking life, the moment you start declaring victory even before you see it, things begin to shift. The right doors start opening, the right opportunities start finding you, the right people start showing up. It's not a coincidence, it's the power of your words. David didn't look at Goliath and say, he's too big, I'll never defeat him. No, he said, this day the Lord will deliver you into my hands. He spoke victory before he saw it. He declared what was going to happen. And because he aligned his words with faith, the impossible became possible. What are you speaking over your life? Are you speaking victory or defeat? Are you talking about how big your problems are, or are you talking about how big your God is? When you wake up in the morning, don't start your day with complaints. Don't talk about how tired you are, how difficult life is, how things aren't working out. Start your day by declaring favor, blessing, and success. Speak to your dreams. Speak to your challenges. Speak to your future. Your words are setting the direction for your life. When you speak in faith, you are releasing power that will take you where you were meant to be. There is something powerful about taking responsibility for your own life. Too often, people are waiting for someone else to come and fix things, for someone else to open a door, for someone else to give them an opportunity. They think, if only my parents had raised me differently, if only my boss would recognize my talent, if only the economy was better. But the problem with this mindset is that it puts your future in someone else's hands. As long as you are waiting for other people to make things happen for you, you will stay stuck where you are. You have to take ownership of your destiny. You may not have had the best start, you may have faced unfair situations, but that does not have to determine where you go in life. You have the power to rise above, to push past obstacles, to create opportunities where none exist. When you take responsibility, you stop making excuses and start making progress. It's easy to blame circumstances, to look at all the reasons why things are not working out, but nothing will change until you decide, I am in charge of my own future. I am not going to sit around waiting for someone else to do it for me. I am going to step up, take action, and make the most of what I have. Maybe you were raised in a home where nobody encouraged you, where no one spoke faith over you. That may not have been fair, but it does not have to limit you. You can be the one to break the cycle. You can be the one to rise up and set a new standard. When you stop looking at what you didn't get and start focusing on what you do have, that's when things begin to shift. Some people go through life feeling like victims, thinking they are stuck because of what someone else did to them. But you are not a victim. You are a victor. You are not meant to live in self-pity, constantly reliving what went wrong. That is the enemy's trick to keep you from stepping into your destiny. The more you focus on what happened, the more you allow it to define you. But the moment you say, I'm not going to let my past dictate my future, I'm not going to let what they did to me keep me from what God has for me, that's the moment you step into power. Nothing that was done to you can stop the blessings that are ahead of you unless you let it. You have to guard your mindset, because the enemy will always try to convince you that you are at a disadvantage, that you can't rise higher, that you don't have what it takes. But if you are breathing, if you woke up this morning, that means God is not finished with you. He has already equipped you, already given you the strength, already placed inside of you everything you need to succeed. Instead of waiting for someone else to recognize your potential, recognize it in yourself. Instead of waiting for things to be fair, move forward in faith, knowing that what was meant for harm, God will turn for your good. Every successful person had a moment where they had to decide, I am going to take control of my life. I am not going to sit back and wait for things to change. I am going to step out in faith, develop my gifts, and push forward no matter what. They didn't wait for perfect conditions, for all the right people to show up, for everything to be easy. They moved forward despite obstacles, despite setbacks, despite disappointments. That's the kind of determination that leads to success. You have to get rid of a survival mindset and develop a growth mindset. Some people live with a survival mentality. They do just enough to get by, just enough to pay the bills, just enough to keep things running. But that is not how you were created to live. You were made to thrive, to excel, to increase. When you start thinking bigger, believing bigger, expecting bigger, you open the door for new levels. Instead of saying, I'll never get ahead, say, I am moving forward. I am stepping into abundance. I am walking into greater things. If you are always talking about what you can't do, what's not possible, how you don't have the right connections, then you are speaking limitations over your life. But when you start declaring, I am blessed, I am talented, I am equipped, I have everything I need, then you release favor in your direction. People will notice you, doors will open, the right opportunities will come your way. Not because you were waiting for someone to do it for you, but because you took responsibility, stepped out in faith, and refused to settle for less than what you were created for. There is something powerful about persistence, about refusing to give up even when things don't go your way. Too often people quit too soon. They face a setback, a disappointment, a rejection, and they think, maybe this just isn't for me. Maybe I'm not supposed to have this dream. Maybe it's not meant to be. But just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Delays are not denials. What you're believing for may be taking longer than you expected, but that doesn't mean God has forgotten about you. That doesn't mean it's never going to happen. It simply means the timing isn't right yet. The people who succeed are not always the most talented, the most educated, or the ones with the most resources. They are the ones who keep going when everyone else quits. They are the ones who refuse to settle, who refuse to let obstacles talk them out of their destiny. The dream is in your heart for a reason. The promise God gave you will come to pass, but you have to be willing to push through the challenges, to press forward when it's uncomfortable, to stay in faith even when it looks impossible. Just because you don't see a way doesn't mean there isn't a way. Just because the door is closed now doesn't mean it's going to stay closed. Too often, people let fear talk them out of what God has put in their hearts. They start off excited about their dreams. They are full of faith. They know they are going to accomplish something great. But then opposition comes, and instead of pushing through, they back down. They let the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of looking foolish keep them from stepping into their destiny. But you cannot let fear control your decisions. You cannot let fear keep you from what God has for you. If you're waiting for all the fear to go away before you take action, you will be waiting your whole life. You have to move forward in faith even when you feel afraid. You have to take the step even when you don't see how it's going to work out. David didn't wait until he felt fearless to fight Goliath. He didn't wait for perfect conditions, for all the odds to be in his favor. He stepped onto that battlefield with nothing but a slingshot and 5 stones, and he declared victory before he even saw it. That's what faith looks like. It's moving forward even when you don't have all the answers. It's saying, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I know who is on my side. It's refusing to let fear stop you from stepping into the fullness of what's been prepared for you. You don't have to have all the details figured out to take the next step. Some people overanalyze everything, trying to see every possible outcome before they move forward. But sometimes you have to step out in faith, trusting that the right doors will open as you go. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. When you take that step, when you start moving in the direction of your dreams, you will be amazed at how things start lining up. People will show up to help you, resources will come, opportunities will find you, but you have to take the first step. When you believe in yourself, when you believe in the gifts you've been given, you stop looking for other people to validate you. You stop waiting for someone else to approve you, to tell you that you're good enough, to give you permission to go after your dreams. You are already approved. You are already equipped. You already have what it takes. The only thing that's missing is for you to step out in boldness, to walk in confidence, to stop shrinking back and start taking territory. If you listen to the wrong voices, you will talk yourself out of your destiny. If you let doubt creep in, you will convince yourself that you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not experienced enough. But those are just lies designed to keep you from moving forward. The truth is, you have everything you need. You are stronger than you think, more capable than you realize, more anointed than you know. When you start walking like you believe that, thinking like you believe that, speaking like you believe that, everything will begin to shift in your favor. Some people are waiting for perfect conditions before they step out. They're waiting for all their ducks to be in a row, for every question to be answered, for every fear to disappear. But if you wait for everything to be perfect, you will never move forward. There will always be an excuse, always a reason to stay where you are. You have to step out in faith, trusting that as you go, the right doors will open, the right people will show up, the right opportunities will come your way. If you keep pushing forward, if you refuse to quit, if you keep believing even when it looks impossible, you will see things happen that you never dreamed. You will go places you never imagined. You will accomplish things that seemed out of reach. Not because you had all the answers, not because you never faced challenges, but because you refuse to let fear stop you. You refuse to let doubt talk you out of your destiny. You refuse to settle for less than what you were created for. There is something powerful about living with a spirit of excellence. When you do your best, when you go the extra mile, when you give more than what's expected, you set yourself apart. Too many people do just enough to get by. They show up to work late, they cut corners, they give half-hearted effort, and then they wonder why they don't see favor, why doors don't open, why they're not getting ahead. But promotion doesn't come from people. It comes from doing what's right even when no one is watching. It comes from being faithful in the small things, from showing up on time, from being reliable, from treating people with respect even when they don't treat you that way. When you do everything with excellence, when you make the decision that you're going to be the best you can be no matter where you are, you position yourself for increase. You don't have to have the most talent, the best education, or the biggest network. What sets you apart is how you show up every single day. It's your attitude, your work ethic, your commitment to being excellent, even when no one is clapping for you. When you keep doing the right thing, when you keep giving your best effort, when you keep working with integrity, it's only a matter of time before the right people notice, before the right doors open, before the right opportunities find you. People may not see all the effort you're putting in, but God sees. He sees you going the extra mile when no one says thank you. He sees you staying late when everyone else leaves early. He sees you treating people with kindness even when they're being rude. and because you are faithful in the small, He will reward you with much. Too many people have big dreams, big goals, but they're not willing to do the little things with excellence. They want the promotion, but complain about the job they have now. They want the business to grow, but are cutting corners in how they run it today. They want to meet the right people, but are sloppy in how they present themselves. The truth is, how you handle where you are right now determines where you'll go next. If you want God to bless you with bigger, you have to prove that you can handle smaller. If you want more opportunities, you have to show that you are excellent with the opportunities you have. If you want to lead, you have to first be a faithful follower. It's in the little things show you show up. How you serve, how you carry yourself, that you set the stage for the greater things ahead. Some people think, when I get that promotion, then I'll start working harder. When I get more responsibility, then I'll be more committed. When I have my own business, then I'll give my best effort.